Blacklock, a prominent journalist, hesitantly enters her office. As she sits on her computer, she sees an invitation to Annie Bulmer's luxury yacht, who is a dying billionaire and has accepted her request for an interview. She chats with her colleague, expressing her reluctance, as recently one of the women she interviewed was killed because she revealed truths about some powerful people. But after all, she decides to go on the cruise. Upon entering, the first thing she gets told is from a woman who requests her to remove her shoe. She does so. By her side is a man named Adam, who asks her if it is her first time in here, and she replies that she is not very fond of the luxury. She grabs a champagne, and she is informed of her room, which is cabin 8. There, she chats with Dr. Mehta, who is Anne's personal physician. As he leaves, Blacklock notices Anne up ahead, looking at her. Then, she meets with the photographer, Ben, who also happens to be one of her past lovers. They chat after a long time, and there's still a spark left in between them. As the evening falls, everybody heads to their cabins. There, she meets with one of the guests, Heidi, an amicable woman. Blacklock heads to her cabin. Eventually, the yacht starts. She goes to the balcony for the view, but to her surprise, a bunch of cigarette butts head her way. She realizes it is from cabin 10, which is just beside. Later, she meets with the host Richard Bulmer, husband of Anne. He informs everybody that Anne is not feeling very well, and she will be happy to meet everybody the next morning. She gets introduced to him. Then again, another guest appears, named Tommy, who happens to be a famous actor. For the dinner, Blacklock dresses up, but she feels she looks a bit too much. So, when she sees Ben coming with another guest, Grace, she quickly gets into the room beside her. It is cabin 10, and she comes across a woman. She hesitantly apologizes and gets out. Everybody, as expectedly, is taken aback by her dress. At the dinner, Anne's assistant Sigrid tells Blacklock that Anne has agreed to meet her after the dinner. As said, she heads to her room, guided by Sigrid. The room is empty, and she checks out the books while Anne appears. She takes her to her chamber and freely reveals that she has stopped taking her medications. She asks if she can take an opinion from her. Blacklock happily obliges and brings out her speech for the gala. She requests that she read it. It leaves her shocked as it reveals that she is letting go of all her wealth. She will be donating all of them to a cancer hospital. She requests that she read the speech to her the next evening. At night, she wakes up from her sleep hearing sounds from the other room. It soon turns violent as bangs are heard on the wall. She goes to the balcony and soon hears a splash. She sees a body floating on the water, and on the wall, there's a bloodied handprint. She quickly calls the cabin to report it. They respond fast, and the whole ship gets busy finding the person on board. They head to her room and check the water, but there is nobody there. They start to check for all the other guests. Everybody is found, but they cannot find Heidi. However, she is seen sleeping in a bathtub. Blacklock then asks for the woman in cabin 10. However, they say that cabin 10 was always empty. Shocked, she goes to show them the bloodied handprint, but it has vanished as well. Frustrated, she attempts to show them a cigarette, but she is told that the room services are done twice a day, so they won't be there. She has no way to prove them, and they all leave. The cruise gets going. The dawn breaks. Unable to sleep, Blacklock sees that there is no connection on the phone. She said that it's everywhere on the cruise. She heads to Richard to once again bring up the topic of the woman in cabin 10. She says it might be one of the crew members. Richard decides to collect all of them together and show them to her. It's none of them. She then reaches in to continue the interview. However, and tells her that she is not feeling very well and they should meet again sometime later. She then heads to Ben this time and tries to convince him about the incident last night. Then she wonders if there might be a photo of the woman captured by Ben. She attempts to check if there is any, and she proceeds to the earlier photos. Ben says it's old photos, but she rolls anyway and surprisingly finds her. She quickly takes the laptop to show Richard. Richard doesn't recognize her and once asked Adam, who doesn't know her either. Furthermore, Dr. Mehta tries to convince her. He says that she has recently witnessed a murder, and trauma can linger. She is surprised to know how he knows that. Apparently, Ben is the one who told him. He defends himself, saying he just wants to protect her. Tommy further says he also gets visions of dead people. She should just go along with it. Blacklock is completely devastated. Richard approaches her, saying that this should be a very memorable journey for him and his wife, so she must be relaxed. He suggests a spa. She takes the advice and goes there. She is taking a bath when she notices someone's presence outside. She catches something on the glass. She is shocked to see that it is written stop. Scared, she rushes out, asks the staff if there was anybody inside. She is clueless. Soon, Adam comes out from the other side. Paranoid, she asks if he was there. He acts casual and passes her. She then notices the cameras and quickly heads to the crew to ask for the CCTV footage. However, they say that one of the guests is asked to turn them off. She is surprised that it is possible, and they reply that they have a protocol. If a guest wants privacy, they can. Devastated, Blacklock heads back to her cabin for a shower. She notices her hair being stuck under and gets an idea. She grabs a plastic bag to sneak into cabin 10. She decides to go by the railing. She loses her shoe, but successfully manages to get in. She enters and looks for her hair. She finds them on the sink. She instantly reaches Ben and says that she's got evidence now. Ben still advises her to stay out of it because these are very powerful people and she doesn't want to be on the wrong side of them. She leaves his room and hides the hair carefully in her own sink. She goes outside and Grace frankly chats with her, captures a selfie, and says that she is proud of what she does for work. At lunch, she begins to suspect everybody on board. She then looks at In and wonders about the interview, but In appears very heartbroken and starts sobbing. Everyone shows their sympathy, and she requests them to enjoy. After the dinner, everybody is all jolly with their get-together, but Blacklock leaves for her cabin. The next morning, she heads down to reach the crew. She shows them the picture of the woman and asks if they have seen it, but they haven't. She goes a step further and asks how easy it is to smuggle a human being into the cruise. They respond that they are not allowed to discuss such things with her. She gets out and comes across Dr. Mehta, who wonders what she was doing in the crew cabin. She plays it off, saying she merely wanted to see all of the yacht. He leaves, and she enters her cabin. She gets the hair out of the sink and puts it in her jacket. She suddenly notices a button lying on the carpet. It's not hers. She wears the jacket and checks the view from the upper floor. Suddenly, somebody pushes her and she falls into the pool in front. They further press a key and the pool starts getting covered. She fails to get her hands out to get out of there before it closes. She sees the window in front and starts banging. The others are there and they soon notice her. She is saved. Blacklock tells them that somebody has pushed her, but they do not believe her. Dr. Mehta asks her why somebody would be after her, and just then she notices that one of his buttons is missing. She instantly asks him if he was in her room. He denies. She instantly remembers her jacket, where her hair was. She hears it is in the washing room, and she rushes there to check it out. Sigrid says that her belongings are safely kept aside. She checks them out, but there is no hair. Frustrated, she heads out and comes across Ben. She gets angry at him because he is the only one who knew about the hair. Apparently, he confesses that he has told the others that she has some evidence. He was trying to defend herself because everybody had started to think she was crazy, but has only put her in more trouble. She locks herself in her room. Meanwhile, Tommy has decided to leave because of Blacklock's behavior. He claims she may take her own life, and he has no intention to witness another scandal. Richard tries to stop him, but he leaves. Hearing the news, Blacklock asks them if that is not suspicious, but they don't share her belief. Everybody has started to think that she is crazy and ruining their vacation. She is left alone. She heads to her room and stays awake at night. She suddenly hears a knock on her door. She gradually reaches and stares at the peephole. She sees someone in a hoodie walking away. She quickly gets out and chases them. She goes downstairs and follows them to the engine room. There, when she's stuck in a room, the person comes there. It's the woman from cabin 10. She asks who she is. She starts to speak that she has seen her now, and she should just drop it. She also reveals that she is the one who gave her the message on the glass door, but she still hasn't stopped. However, she hasn't pushed her into the pool. She says that someone will kill her, and she should stop it. In a scuffle, she removes her hood, and it is apparently In. She angrily bangs her head and gets out of there, locking her in. When it's the middle of the night, Blacklock wakes up. She notices that In is still there, and she opens the lid. Blacklock can see that it is not really In, because she saw her taking medicine the day after she told her she stopped taking them. And she also forgot about their interview. She has realized that it is In who went overboard. She finally confesses and agrees. Her name is Carrie. Blacklock comes to the knowledge that it is Richard who is the culprit. He came to know that In was disinheriting him. He had planned to kill and find her lookalike. He found Carrie and brought her onto the ship without anyone's knowledge. She pretended to be In. However, the plan was to kill her silently. While to make it exclusive, they attempted to make out and walked in on them. He tried to stop her and banged her head, ending up killing her. Blacklock woke up with the sound. He then took her body and dropped her into the water and left his handprint on the door. However, before she came back to that, he wiped it off. Carrie says that she is a poor woman who has a child to take care of. She was offered a good amount of money and she couldn't refuse it. However, she never wanted a cold-blooded murder. Blacklock tells her that he will never let her go now, because she has seen him kill someone. She says that they have to work together, but Carrie doesn't listen and leaves her there. She meets with Richard, and they all catch some fireworks. Ben, concerned about Blacklock, goes to look for her and finds that Dr. Mehta is coming out of her room. He says that she has been feeling sick, and he has left her with some medicine. She is sleeping peacefully now. After he leaves, Ben calls for her, but as expectedly, gets no response. Dr. Mehta returns to Richard and tells him that killing and was one thing in her sleep because she was already dying. But apparently Richard has asked him to get rid of Blacklock as well. He threatens him, saying that he has saved him from prison. This is his time to pay back now. Carrie hears all this from the bathroom. At night, Carrie reaches Blacklock. She says that they have to tell the police everything. But Carrie isn't up for it because she is an accomplice and she will be arrested. Carrie says that the ship will reach land within a couple of hours, and she has come here to warn her that people are looking for her to finish her. Blacklock reminds her that she will be safe as long as she doesn't sign the papers. She leaves, keeping the lid open. The yacht reaches close to the land, and the anchor is dropped. As she is about to get up, she hears Meta's voice. She hides as he opens the lid to check. He doesn't see her. Meanwhile, Ben is still worried, tries to get into her room. But a crew member stops him, saying Meta has asked others not to get into her room because she needs rest. She finally gets out. All the others are at the front waiting to set foot on land. Ben thinks of checking for Blacklock one last time before leaving. Blacklock sneaks into Anne's room, takes her speech, and hides it in her phone. Richard and Carrie are on their way to land. Dr. Meta looks for Blacklock to finish his job. He comes across her. She sees the injection in his hand and runs. Captain Addis is also with them. She runs through the balcony and crashes into Addis. He holds her. Meta is about to push the injection, and just then Ben comes in. He stops him, and in the brawl, the injection is pushed into him. He gets it out and attacks Meta with his remaining strength. Blacklock fights with the captain and goes to Ben. He is dying and asks her to run. She runs, but Meta stops her again. He tries to choke her, but Ben once again comes to her save. She runs and jumps from the balcony into the water. She swims through the water and safely reaches the land. She finds herself a cabin, gets in, and fires some wood to warm herself. Richard has reached the land. Meta is there, telling him about their blunder. However, he thinks that since Blacklock has jumped into such cold water, it is not possible that she is made out. Blacklock breaks down thinking of Ben, but she could do nothing now. The meeting is held, and Carrie is about to sign the papers. The lawyers ask why the sudden change of thought, since she previously thought of giving away her wealth to a cancer hospital. She says that her husband has been by her side in the toughest of times, and he deserves it. They don't question much, and she proceeds with the papers. She hesitates, but eventually signs the papers. Back in their room, Richard gives her a dress to pick for the night's speech. Blacklock has reached the spot in the meantime, and the first person she notices is Sigrid. She tries to call the security, but she convinces her that and is dead. She lets her read the speech, and Blacklock says that she can prove it. They all head for the speech, and she has snuck herself into the crowd. The speech begins, and both of them head to the stage. Blacklock then nonchalantly walks up there. She snatches the mic from him, and when security is called up, Carrie speaks in. She asks them to let her speak. Richard tries to stop her, bringing confusion among the crowd. However, the guards are entitled to listen to Anne. Heidi asks him to let her speak as well. She then shows him the speech that Anne has written. She reads it to them, and just then, the mic is cut. Richard says that all these are lies. She asks Anne for confirmation. He slips out, saying that it isn't even Anne. Blacklock asks him if that's not and who she is. In a complete catch-up, he tries to take her away, but when things are revealed enough, he gives up and grabs a knife to threaten her. He asks her to take all her words back. She takes her out, and Blacklock runs behind them. Meanwhile, Sigrid gets to the storage room to get out a gun. As they head to the boat, she shoots him in the shoulder. He still manages to grab her, and she cannot make another shot anymore. This time, Blacklock proceeds from behind and strikes him in the head. Things have returned to normal, and the news is revealed. Meta and Addis are arrested for the murder of Ben, and she yet again grieves. Her colleague comes and congratulates her on the story, and she sees a text message from Carrie showing a video of her son playing. So, that was the recap for the 2025 movie The Woman in the Cabin Tent. For more recaps like this, stay subscribed to the channel, and if you have liked this video, you may also like this.